The Cincinnati Reds are doing exactly what we said they should be doing at this point in the season. It's just how they're doing it that has made them so frustrating.
You are Locked On Reds, your daily Cincinnati Reds podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome into the Locked On Reds podcast. My name is Jeff Carr, and my co-host Stephen Offenbaker will be alongside me here shortly. We are lifelong Cincinnati Reds fans that have been podcasting about this team for a combined 14 seasons. And as always, we are part of the Locked On Podcast Network. We are your team every single day. And on today's podcast, this will actually be a rehashing of some of the Q&A in case you missed it from our live show on Thursday afternoon. We're going to dive into some tough topics like, should Matt McLain be sent down to AAA, or is there another option? We'll get into that later on in this show. We're also going to discuss some of the finer points of this Cubs series, like the key thing that they need to do right now. The Reds, that is. We'll talk about that in just a few minutes. But we're going to start off today's episode by discussing what has us so frustrated about the Cincinnati Reds team, given that they're basically doing exactly what we said they should be doing.
This is from Adam. He's kind of where we are, I think. He says, like I said above, this is a 500 team at best, the way the roster is constructed right now. We need to stop playing guys like Joe and Hampson, let the young guys develop and play for next year. That kind of hits on what we said, Adam. You know, we talked about this stretch of schedule, right? When they first entered into it, we're like, it's a buzzsaw. It's tough. And what Jeff and I both said, and I think we were in agreement on this, Jeff, that they needed to play 500 baseball until 7 games before the All-Star break, because those last 7 games before the All-Star break are teams they should just beat up on. If they play 500 baseball, get to those 7 games, and win 5 of 7 against teams they should win 5 of 7 against, they enter the All-Star break 5 games over 500. And now you're in a spot to kind of look at the trade deadline and make a move and do some things. Now, the most frustrating part, and we've talked about this as well, is that they've done this completely backwards. They're doing exactly what we expected of them, ask of them, but they're beating the teams they should lose to, and they're losing to the teams they should be beating, i.e., losing a series to the White Sox, losing to the Nationals when they should have won the series, things like that. So it's, you know, Jeff, you talk about we've been more negative than we usually are, and let me tell you, Auntie Darlene is letting me have it over that. But it's hard because it's so frustrating. Like they're doing what we said, but in a way that is like, it's just the worst possible way to break it down and talk about it and not be like, you're going to lose a series to the freaking Chicago White Sox and then go sweep the Guardians. What? You know, right. It's that kind of thing. And so I'm not ready to give up on them because they're doing what we said they need to do. I'm not ready to give up on them because there's a lot of talent on this team. I'm not ready to give up on them because they're in a division where it can turn on a dime. But man, it is hard to stay uber positive when you have to accept the way they're doing it right now. So I'm going to try, Jeff. I'm going to try to be more positive.
Yeah, it feels like they're doing this thing where they're just like, you guys were right about us, but see, we almost exceeded your expectations, but we're right there where you thought we'd be.
William says, do you think they're just waiting on CES to come back so they can throw Steer into a corner outfield position? Seems to me that's what their plan is. It might be, but I sure hope it's not, because what do we know about CES? We don't know. What do we know? Like, we know that if he does hit a baseball, it goes far sometimes, but is he going to hit the baseball? We don't know.
So I've been thinking about this because there were some reports that I saw that I think he's possibly close to a return, maybe even this weekend or at the beginning of next week, that he could be ready to go. And I've been thinking about this because I really like CES. I really like his potential. His scouting report says that he could be a guy. But I think I'm ready to say that whatever CES gives the Reds, it should be considered gravy. I don't know that we can expect CES to be any certain thing. I think he's become a lottery ticket Because think about what these last 2 years have been for him. They've been injuries. And when he has been healthy, the reason that he hasn't performed is because, well, he's just coming off of injury. So now he's going to be just coming off of an injury. What is he going to be for this team? Is he going to come back and is he going to bat $150 for like a month? And then is he going to get hurt again? Because if that's what he's doing, then he's no better than Garrett Hampson or Connor Joe. And as much as his scouting report says that he could be this team's cleanup hitter and hit 40 home runs, I'm starting to wonder if he's ever going to hit that potential. And that's for me, again, another realistic take. I want to be optimistic about him, but there's just so many dudes that are showing me some certain things that I'm like, man, I'm feeling more realistic about this team than I have in probably ever. And maybe it's just because I'm becoming older and more boring, but like CES was one of those guys that a couple of years ago I was bought in and I was saying this dude's gonna mash, and I'm still waiting on that to happen.
Let's go. I don't know, maybe I'll put this up and see if you want to talk about this or if you want to save it for Saturday. But our old friends Taylor Ward and Brent Rooker being asked about, would you still go get those guys? Are those still two guys?
Rooker, no, because Rooker just got re-signed to a long-term deal by the A's. He's not going anywhere. I would be surprised if they traded him. Taylor Ward would be interesting to me. I know he's had a pretty good start to the season, but the Angels are one of those teams. They're kind of like right there where the Reds are, where it's like they just got done being on this really hot streak. Now they've kind of cooled off a little bit. So they got to figure out who they are, especially in a division. I mean, the AL West and the NL Central are very similar in terms of, are we really that sure about the team that's at the top of the division? Because right now the Mariners are at the top of the AL West, and I think everybody and their mother would tell you they're not sure they buy into the Mariners right now. Same with the Cubs and things like that. So I think that ultimately the Angels might be one of those teams that holds on to their players, maybe even through the trade deadline. As much as I would like the Reds to kick the tires on Taylor Ward, there's a really good chance that their general manager, Perry Manassian, stands pat or buys. They're one of those teams that they buy even when people think they should sell.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think there was much more opportunity for the Reds to go get Taylor Ward in the offseason than there is right now. We'll see how it plays out, maybe closer to the deadline, but this is the same problem we talked about. And I said that the problem with going out and getting somebody right now is that everybody's still trying to delude their fans into believing they have a chance. Right. And
because there's so many teams that make the playoffs.
Right. Yeah. The minute you start trading guys away, you're telling your fans, well, sorry. And that
no need to show up now.
Right. That impacts the budget. Right. So I just don't know how willing teams are going to be in making a move. Let's go to this one, because I love it when people call me out and they're wrong. So Rob the Bingo guy says that I am off my rocker. The Reds and the Bengals don't trade. We're not going to drag the Bengals into this, but how many times have the Reds made the playoffs? Come on. Well, you're right. There is a playoff series drought, but they have historically gone out and got a relief pitcher when they needed one and thought they could make the playoffs. This team thinks it can make the playoffs because everybody makes the playoffs if you can get into one of those wild card spots. They did it in 2020. They went out and got a reliever. They did it earlier than that when they went out and traded for, what was it, Broxton from
Jonathan Broxton.
Jonathan Broxton. They have done this time and time again. They will go get a relief pitcher when they need to. So don't come at me about being off my rocker when I know for a fact the Reds have done it. Now, you're right. They haven't won a playoff series and they don't go to the playoffs a lot. But when they have the opportunity, they are willing to do things. And if they see an opportunity for a playoff series and to make some more money, Castellini is going to let them go make a trade. So don't come at me about being off.
And don't forget, they also traded for Gary Majeski and Bill Bray.
Man, just keeps getting you sometimes.
But no, they have made trades that actually make sense. That one didn't make sense. Royce Clayton. I remember Royce Clayton. Anyway.
Kerry always the voice of reason around here. The Cubs are on a high right now. Absolutely right, Kerry. They'll get back to earth, and maybe the Reds can absorb some of what they've been throwing down. I really would love for the Reds to take 2 of 3 at Wrigley. That would make me happy.
I would have loved to have seen if Hunter would have lined up again to pitch against the Cubs, but He won't pitch, obviously, since he just pitched the finale here in Kansas City. But it's going to be interesting to see the bounce back that Nick Lodolo should have. I mean, his most recent outing was very uneven. Let's see if we get efficient Lodolo. Let's see if we get good Lodolo. Got a chance to win on Friday. I kind of feel like, Steve, and a bit of a preview here, at least I'll give you a take on this Cubs series. Yes, they need to win 2 out of 3, but I think if they're going to win 2 out of 3, they got to win tonight. I think they've got a stat, and I don't know the exact record, but I don't
38.
think they've won a series. Is it 0-38?
It's 0-38 when they've lost the first
when they've
game
lost
of the
game
series.
1. That's a pretty big sample size. So I think you better win game 1.
Yeah, I would really hope that they do go out and win that first game just based on that track record that they've had.
Coming up, is Steve not being hard enough on Matt McLain? Sports watching, it's a hungry business, and the best way to attack that snack craving is with Wonderful Pistachios. Wonderful Pistachios got the no-shells variety with all the flavors that you love. My favorite is this one right here, Smoky Barbecue. Absolutely amazing barbecue flavor. You're going to forget that you're eating a snack that's healthy for you. It's got 11% of your daily value of protein in just one serving, one little 1 ounce serving of the no shells variety. They also have the shelled variety if you prefer to shell them yourself, but there's so many great flavors. Smoky barbecue in the no shells variety. You got jalapeno lime, you got chipotle. It's so many great stuff. Check them out today at your local grocery store, your favorite store that's near you, and you can get snacking and get cracking with the snack that packs a protein punch. That's Wonderful Pistachios. Check it out at wonderfulpistachios.com today. Thanks for making Locked On Reds part of your everyday routine. We appreciate all of our everydayers out there. If you're not an everydayer, make sure you become one by hitting that subscribe button right now here on YouTube or on your favorite podcasting app. That way you get all the content we've got coming for you, including the Reds Postcast, hosted by Tim Daniel after the final out of every game, right here on the Locked On Reds YouTube page and on the Locked On Reds audio feed shortly after they're done going live.
Adrian wants to come at me now. Okay, this is what we're doing today, gang. All right, here we go. If Marte or Benson were playing with McLain stats, would you still be pushing the agenda that he should be on the MLB roster still? Okay. The first part of the question is I would be coming at him for the stats. Matt McLain's stats are terrible, but I would say if Will Benson tanked cratered right now, and assuming that Rhys Hines has already replaced Connor Joe, okay? You look at Will Benson, who would you bring up that would be better? If there's somebody, yes. If there's nobody, no. Same with Noel V. Marte. He was on fire before he got hurt. If he comes back and is still on fire and Matt McLain's still playing the way he's playing, you have to talk about scooting guys around and getting Noel V. Marte the at-bats. If Noel V. Marte cratered, who would you bring up to replace him that's better? You know, there's this thing in fandom. There's this thing in people that follow sports, and it's two things. It's, oh my God, they're terrible, send them down, without ever answering the question of who would you bring up, who would be better, or it's, oh my God, that guy's terrible, trade him. What makes you think somebody would want him? Those are the two worst takes in sports. Send them down and trade them when they're terrible, because you're not answering or solving the problem. So who else wants to come at me today? Let's go.
Oh, I just thought of this. So a move. So you can make two easy moves for Hampson and Joe if you just go 1-1, Rhys Hines and Jake Fraley. Jake Fraley comes off the injured list or something.
I do those moves in a heartbeat. They're better than those two guys.
There's an interesting. You could have the discussion about giving Ivan Johnson his major league debut and letting Matt McLain figure things out in AAA. But that's squinting really hard to look at that one. Bryson Brigman is listed as an infielder, that guy that Adrian asked about a little bit ago.
What is it that you think Matt McLain is going to figure out against AAA pitchers?
Confidence. He's not seen the ball hit the grass in a minute. He's seen the ball hit the glove every day. Let's just see the ball hit the grass, you know? Like, that's the only thing. I'm not saying there's any one pitch that he needs to figure out or anything like that. It's just there is something about confidence when it comes to baseball that if you don't have it, it's really hard to get it back. And I feel like if he just goes down to AAA, get that confidence. What did Will Benson get?
I don't know that that's real though. Like Will Benson is 2 years ago. Will Benson right now, he didn't learn something new. He didn't learn anything new. Right. I don't know that he's not going to go back into a 2024 slump. I am talking about, oh my God. I just don't understand why people want to send down a Gold Glove second baseman to figure out how to hit. He already knows how to hit. He hit the crap out of the ball in the minor leagues. He's not going to go. I don't know, Jeff. I can't with this.
Can I interest you?
They're not going to send Matt McLain down. It's not going to happen.
Can I interest you in a nice shiny 2022 TJ Friedel?
Stop. I'm not.
Went down multiple times.
Look, there is no stat you can give me. There is no player you can. There's nobody better in AAA than Matt McLain. There's no reason to send him down.
So in 2022, there was certainly nobody better than TJ Friedel, but TJ Friedel got sent down before his call up, or before he was sent down to AAA. He hit 200 and he had a 539 OPS. Mm-hmm. They sent him down on June 19th. They brought him up on August 16th, and from August 16th through the end of the season, he hit 267 with an 888 OPS. Jumped up 300 points. What did he learn in AAA?
He didn't learn anything in AAA.
I think there's something.
He just got at bats. He just got at bats, and Matt McLain can get the same at bats. Oh my goodness. He got
at bats that he dominated. He needs to see the dominance. You don't see the dominance if you're constantly seeing the left fielder catch that fly ball that you just hit at 100 miles an hour.
We need to talk to some players, and I need to ask them if I'm just going to have them watch your clip and tell me how wrong you are. William Rice says that Fraley needs to stay in AAA. Fraley is better than Connor Joe. He's better than Hampson. He's better than Connor Joe. Like you bring up the better guy. That's the same argument I'm making of why you don't send down Matt McLain is the same argument of why you don't leave Jake Fraley in AAA right now, because he is better than the guys in front of him. You make that move every single time.
The only difference between Garrett Hampson and Connor Joe and Jake Fraley and Rhys Hines is the fact that Connor Joe and Garrett Hampson have more years of major league experience than either Jake Fraley or Rhys Hines. And I think it's weird that that's what the Reds are prioritizing right now. Like, that's the only thing, because Connor Joe's not going to hit. I mean, Connor Joe still doesn't have as many home runs as Rhys Hines does, and he's played in more games. And Garrett Hampson certainly ain't going to hit more home runs than Rhys Hines does, because Garrett Hampson don't hit home runs. So I don't know why the Reds are shunning the potential power of Rhys Hines for the whatever Connor Joe, Garrett Hampson have.
I want to talk about this for a minute. This is from Bob Joy.
Free Rhys.
Bob Joy says, I remember everyone saying how bad the Cardinals were going to be. Look pretty good so far. I don't know if this is a Cardinals fan trolling this or asking a real question. Either way, I want to talk about the Cardinals for a minute. One, what is the over-under on number of chickens that they had to sacrifice to have this team with that record? A. B, it's smoke and mirrors, right? They can't stay this good all season long.
Yeah, I don't think so.
They're 3 games back of the Cubs. 32-24 is their record right now.
I just don't know how this is working for them. They didn't do anything this offseason. By anything, I mean anything. They let Paul Goldschmidt walk. They let some old pitchers go. Maybe it was addition by subtraction that they don't have Kyle Gibson or Lance Lynn right now. But like, and Matthew Liberatore has been a bit of a revelation for them. He was a guy that they expected to be really good when they traded for him a while ago. But I don't know. Like, I don't buy them. I certainly see them falling off quicker than I see. Like, I'll tell you this. I buy the Milwaukee Brewers, like, figuring things back out again and getting back closer to first place than I buy the Cardinals staying where they are.
That's fair. Milwaukee's won 4 games in a row, by the way. Don't look now, but here they come. So this is, if ever there was going to be a team to hold a press conference to tell you they're blowing it up and rebuilding. We're rebuilding. We're blowing it up. We're not trying. If ever there was a team that was going to do that and then be, 6 to 8 games over 500 and competing for the division, it's the St. Louis freaking Devil Magic Cardinals. If ever there was a team that was going to do it, it was them.
Coming up, we set the record straight on evaluating a couple of trade ideas and just how to fix this lineup. If you can't watch us on YouTube, you can always listen to us on your favorite podcasting app. We're seriously on all of them out there. Check us out today. And by the way, after you're done watching this, go check out Locked On MLB Game Night. We have every single game, every single night covered on Locked On MLB Game Night. They watch every game, so you don't have to. You can get the rundown on every single thing that happened last night in Major League Baseball.
All right. I was wondering if we were going to get one of these, and we got one of these. So buckle up, Jeff. Trade Tyler Stephenson if you can get a decent outfielder. You've got a catching surplus right now. Absolutely not. First off, I don't know. Like, okay, Jose Trevino has been extraordinary. He has played way over what any of us expected him to do. He is good defensively. We knew what we were getting with that. No, you don't trade Tyler Stephenson.
Jose Trevino right now is 2023 Luke Maile 2.0, right? Because we talked about how good Luke Maile was in 2023, and we're like, this was awesome. He's not better than Tyler Stephenson. Jose Trevino is not better than Tyler Stephenson. And Tyler Stephenson is, I mean, if the Reds did make him available, they better be trading him for somebody that's really amazing, because Tyler Stephenson is a huge commodity when it comes to Major League Baseball. He is a really good hitting catcher. And the Reds should absolutely be locking him up, not making him available. Like, he should be here for as long as their wallets will, conceivably allow. They have a lot of other guys they could trade before they need to worry about offering up Tyler Stephenson.
See, and more people leaning in on Trevino. Can't put Elly second. He's the perfect 3-hitter. Put Trevino second. Steer okay. Put McLain back when he figures it out.
This is the same philosophy as putting Santiago Espinal in the second hole. Okay.
His numbers would tank. Yep.
Like, because right now the argument is Jose Trevino is hitting really well this year. His career says that this is not normal. As much as we are super happy about it, and I want to see it continue, and hopefully he can set new career records and all this other stuff this year, that would be amazing. But he is not. I think the Reds exposed Santiago Espinal by putting him in the 2-hole and playing him every day, where he is a utility player and should not be playing every day. He should be moving around, playing different positions and things like that. But because of injuries, he had to play third base. And because they didn't necessarily have the roster to mitigate all of the losses at third base, I don't see that. Like, it's Elly, or I do like the idea of Steer Lux. I don't know that there's really any other option there.
Sean checks in. Sean Melvin's checking in, saying teams don't really trade this time of year. They wait till closer to the deadline when prices are driven up. That's true too. Teams are going to try and maximize the value they get in return. It's not a great time to trade. That's the biggest problem with our desire to make a move, is that the other team has to be desiring to make a move too. And right now, no other team is, except maybe the White Sox or the Rockies. There's nobody. Adrian, I think, agrees with you on Matt McLain, confidence and not swinging at balls constantly. I mean, there is nothing short of a second baseman in AAA that can come up to the big leagues and hit 300 that's going to make me agree to send Matt McLain down. You get me somebody better, we'll talk about it. There's nobody better right now.
He actually doesn't chase all that much. He's better than league average at swinging at pitches, but his whiff rate is super high, almost 30%, strikeout rate 31%. His hard hit rate is fine, but his average exit velo, the really good quality of contact metric, that has come down a lot. It's now down to just above league average. So there's not a lot that continues to point to it's ending as quickly as I thought it was going to end like 3 weeks ago. And obviously that was wrong because it hasn't ended yet.
I think this might be about Matt McLain also from Bob. I would sacrifice defense for someone that can hit. Yeah. I don't need him to play second base as good as he does. If you can get me a good hitter, I'll entertain sending Matt McLain down. But I'm looking at Louisville's roster. Pull it up on your computers and pick me a guy that you think is going to come up here and hit. Because the Reds don't think they have somebody that's going to come up here and hit. I don't think the Reds have somebody that's going to come up here and hit. If you can do it, let's do it. But I don't see it.
I think Bob Joy's got a point here. Gavin Lux at second base. Play Gavin Lux at second base and sit Matt McLain.
Again, you leaving Gavin in there against lefties?
Probably not. He doesn't look good against lefties. Maybe that's you kind of platoon him.
I'm fine with that. I got no problem with that.
I can do that.
But you're still keeping Matt McLain on the roster. You're not.
And then if McLain gets hot, then you
flip it around. I'm fine with that. That makes sense to me.
Mm-hmm.
But it doesn't make sense to me to bring some unproven no name up that is not going to hit. They're not going to hit. It just that
they got to do. They got to do something. They can't just keep running him out there every day.
Tim loves us. We love you back, Tim. Appreciate you.
Appreciate you, Tim. Not our chipper selves. We'll get there. We'll get there. You win 2 out of 3 against the Cubs, we'll be chipper again.
Okay. I'm taking heat today. I'm acting like McLain is a proven veteran, opposed to a guy with 3 months of success. That might be fair. But man, before he got hurt and got derailed, he was super good. I don't know. Time's going to tell. One of us is going to be right.
I still think he's got that in him. I just don't know that running him out there is doing him any favors to rediscover that. That's my only argument here. I'm not saying that he's a bad player. I'm saying he needs a minute. He needs a mental break, right? Like, baseball is a mentally tough sport. It's a more skill-driven sport than any of the other professional sports outside of golf. And when your mind isn't connecting with that skill, then you're just not going to be successful.
Let's finish with a fun one. Jeff says those catchers need to play. They can hit better than Connor Joe.
But Austin wins in right field. Let's do it.
No. But yes, a 3-catcher lineup. Tyler Stephenson is your DH. Yep. Jose Trevino is catching. Austin Wynns is at first base, and Spencer Steers back in the outfield.
That's being creative. I mean, they've played Austin
and Connor Joe
place.
And Hampson are not playing.
Yeah. I'd be great with that, especially if Austin Hayes is healthy. And even if he's not healthy and it's against like a right-hander, then put Gavin Lux out in left field and then maybe put Spencer Steer in right field. That defensively is a nightmare, but at the same time,
TJ Friedel better have his running shoes on, man.
Yeah. Get that range going. And then you tell Elly, yes, you are playing left field as well today. But or make sure you're ready with the cutoff because Gavin Lux ain't trying to throw home.
They obviously can't do that every day because, well, I guess they could if you rotated the catchers through the DH, right? Mm-hmm. Because you can't just ask Trevino to catch every day. Tyler's got to get behind the plate too. So you could swap guys. But at this point, I'm willing to try almost anything that doesn't involve Hampson and Connor Joe getting a ton of at-bats.
They really need to. And it's weird because, we're saying this after just one bad run scoring game following 6 really good run scoring games. But we saw the lineup of horribleness on Wednesday night that I never ever want to see again. I never want to see Connor Joe and Garrett Hampson playing in the same game ever again. I will watch Santiago Espinal play right field before I see both Joe and Hampson in the same lineup. Like, I just don't want to see that anymore. And I think that you got to get creative in some ways if you're going to do lineups like that. And I mean, Austin Wynns is still hitting. When he does get his chances, he doesn't get a lot of chances, but when he gets them, he hits. So give him a few more.
All right. Well, that's where we're gonna end it. Maybe Terry's watching. Terry, give it a shot. We'll see. That's gonna do it for this edition of Locked On Reds. Thanks everybody for checking out the show, being here with us live in the comment section. We really, really do appreciate you. Make sure you're subscribed, click the likes, the notification bells, click all the things. Do it for us. We appreciate it. Tell your friends, drive the algorithm, all those things. Until we're back in your feeds. Remember, we're in your feeds on Saturday as well with a special Saturday show just because, holiday week. We will drop in, gathering up the news, the reports, the notes, the information, and bring it all right back here to keep you locked on Reds every single day.
Playing Garrett Hampson and Connor Joe at the same time is a coach move. Tito needs to be thinking like a manager.
He's the manager, not a coach. Someone told me that.